All right, so let's get started. We're going to look at some geology today. We're at the Horn Rapids. Off to the right there, you see the Wannawish Dam. This was a dam that was built by the Native Americans in the area. They built a rock dam for fishing salmon. You can see the fishing perches out there, and they still fish that to this day. So we've got a sacred site on our hands, and then as we go further up into Hanford North, we find this really weird conglomeration. It's called Goose Egg Hill in Hanford, and geologists haven't quite cracked the code to that. There's Berga Mounds, which are from icebergs that floated from the Great Floods, and those make big bumps. But this bump is different. It's conical in shape. As you can see, the Berg Mounds are flattened. They don't resemble that. Now, coming across Hanford, the sand that you see is from the sands deposited by the Missoula floods from the White Bluff sands, the ancient lakes that are at White Bluff. So these got washed across. You can totally tell the water pushing that across. And then what you've got is the southwest prevailing wind that creates these, it almost looks like an ocean wave, which actually the same thing happens in the ocean. Surfers love a wind that's pushing against the waves because the waves stay up longer. And that's kind of what this is right here. It leads me to question whether or not those sands make its way to the coast. And I'm of the thinking they do and have for thousands of years. But let's get back to the camp and the location of Camp Columbia. It was called Camp Columbia apparently because people thought it was on the Columbia River, not the Yakima River, which I find really funny. As we dive into the geology and the resources that are available at these different spots, I like to look for exotic terrains, anything that is old and kind of out of place, because see, these faults and things will push things up to the top that shouldn't be there. And we got a heck of a fault. Now, this fault I've been following around for a long time and didn't know what it was. And you can see here the line and where it runs up. My stomping grounds is at the bottom of that red line. Tomorrow we're going up to the very top of that thing. That will be the whole fault. We've also got an interesting geologic formation in that we've got the Cold Creek syncline. You can see this valley right here. Well, this valley goes a lot further down because it's filled with a whole bunch of ice age stuff, wash from the Great Floods. It filled that whole basin up. We've got an anticline and we've got a syncline. Now, the Cold Creek is a syncline. What goes up must go down, just like those ocean waves where you've got a peak and a valley. The syncline is the valley, and this valley is filled. It's filled with rubble from ice age floods. And if you check the elevation, we're at a low elevation for being in, the central part of the state. You can see the green there. Water flowed through here a lot. The last thing I always check for when I'm going somewhere new is a dirt alert. Find out what was there beforehand. Make sure the dirt is safe. Some of these former orchard lands, before the 1950s, they used a lead arsenic pesticide. And they used it for a lot of years. And, of course, there isn't a lot of rain here. So that stuff piles up. Luckily for us, there weren't any orchards in this area. So it's safe for dogs, safe for me, safe for everybody. Anyways, there we go. This is our geology look around for the Camp Columbia on the Yakima. Thanks for coming. We'll be going there soon.